Hello everyone, welcome back to our summer chapel series called Campout. Natasha's with me again today. Natasha, aren't you going to say anything? Natasha, what's the matter?
I'm mad at you.
Okay. Would you mind telling me why you're mad at me? Because I don't know, and maybe I can help fix the problem.
Earlier, I saw you correct your son because he was doing something he wanted to do, and he got mad at you. And he's my best friend. And so now I'm mad at you.
Okay. Well, I corrected him because he was doing something that he shouldn't have done and it wasn't safe.
It still wasn't nice.
Okay. Well, Natasha, that actually brings us... You're not going to look at me, are you?
No.
Okay. That actually brings us to what we're talking about today.
The 10 Commandments?
Yes, the 10 Commandments.
Really? There's one about that?
There is one about that. Can you tell everybody what the 10 Commandments are before we move on? Remember, you're not mad at them, you're mad at me, even though you might not be mad at me by the end.
Fine. The 10 Commandments were rules that God gave to the Israelites and to Moses for them to follow.
Yes. And remember, what is our series verse?
I don't know.
Okay, well, since you're mad at me, are you still going to repeat it for them?
Yeah, because it's for them, not for you.
Okay. So repeat after me.
Fine.
John 14:15.
John 14:15.
If you love me,
If you love me,
keep my commandments.
keep my commandments.
And Natasha, who was talking there?
Jesus.
Yes. And so if we love Jesus, we're supposed to keep the commandments. Now I want you to keep that in mind while we read these next 2 commandments.
Fine.
Okay. Well, we've covered the past 2 weeks over the first 4 commandments. Do you remember what they are?
We should repeat that again.
Fine, we'll repeat them again. Are you going to repeat after me?
Yes, because it's for them, not for you.
Okay, Natasha. So repeat after me.
Fine.
I will put God first
I will put God first
and worship Him only.
and worship Him only.
Then, last time, we learned, I will respect God's name
I will respect God's name
and keep His day of rest.
and keep His day of rest.
Yep. So, are you ready to read this week?
Sure.
So, this week, our verses that we're reading from is Exodus chapter 20, verses... Oops, my Bible fell.
Good.
Natasha. Are verses 12 and 13. You ready?
Fine.
Honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land your God is giving you. You shall not murder.
Honor your father and mother. But that was the Old Testament. It doesn't matter anymore.
Well, is that really how you feel?
No.
Well, Jesus also often gave instructions. Remember, Jesus came to fulfill the law, not to get rid of it. And sometimes he gave instructions as well, or he gave more instructions to his apostles, his disciples in the old church.
Okay, where are we going with this?
Well, in Ephesians chapter 6, so New Testament, after Jesus,
Yeah.
verses 1 through 3,
Yeah.
it says, Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment, with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you will enjoy long life on the earth.
Well, look at that. It does say that. Yeah, I guess he should have listened to you.
Yes.
Well, the second one isn't too hard to remember. Do not murder.
You're trying to change the subject, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we do need to go over it, so that's fine. Yeah, it's not that hard to not murder. But, remember I said Jesus often expounded on the commandments and rules in the Old Testament?
Yeah.
Well, in Matthew chapter 5, we have 2 separate areas where Jesus kind of talked about this. Because, yes, you're right. We think, well, it's easy not to murder. That one's not that hard to follow. But look at what Jesus says. Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 through 22.
Okay.
You have heard that it said to people long ago, do not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment.
Yeah, that's what it said. Okay, so he's saying, don't murder. Easy peasy.
You didn't let me finish reading.
Fine.
But I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother will be subject to judgment. Anyone who says to his brother, Raka, is answerable to the Sanhedrin. But anyone who says, you fool, will be in danger of the fire of hell.
So simply being mad at somebody is not good either?
Yep, simply being mad at somebody or keeping that anger. Because you know what? We have emotions. Sometimes we get angry. Sometimes I get angry. You have been angry with me today. My son was angry with me earlier, which is why you're currently angry at me. But it's what we do with those emotions. Like we should go and apologize or, give it to God so that we're no longer angry. But also in Matthew chapter 5, we have another thing that Jesus tells us what to do in regards to that commandment.
Okay.
But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So Jesus is saying to love people, love your enemies. So not to be unkind, not to stay angry with them. And, do not murder.
Wow. So that brings our commandment into a better perspective.
Yeah, so do you want to say them together for everybody out there so they can remember them?
Yeah.
Repeat after me. I will respect my parents.
I will respect my parents.
And love everyone.
And love everyone.
Yeah. So, you still mad at me?
No, but I don't understand.
That's fine. Because you know what? You're just a little puppy. And my son is just a little kid. And so sometimes he gets mad because he doesn't understand why I tell him he can't do something.
Yeah.
But I'm the older one. I'm the one who experiences things and knows when there's danger. Think about it like this. We're camping, right?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes when you go camping or you go out in nature, there's warning signs.
Okay.
So sometimes there's signs like, do not feed the wildlife.
Why not?
Well, because that can create a danger. 1, an animal could come attack you. 2, if animals are used to being fed and then they're not, they'll attack people.
That's dangerous.
Yes, exactly. So at first it may not seem that harmful, but it can be dangerous. Another sign you might see is no fires or campfires.
But who goes camping and can't have a campfire?
Well, you see, sometimes the air is just too dry or certain areas prone to wildfires.
What's a wildfire?
A wildfire is when a fire can get out of hand and starts destroying large chunks of land and forests, stuff like that.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. So you may see a sign that says no fires and you think, well, I'm responsible. But the people that put it there, they know the nature of what's around you better than you do. So it's best to obey those signs. And then you may also see a sign that says no camping beyond this point.
Well, if we're out camping, why wouldn't you be able to go camping?
Well, Sometimes they may just know that the wildlife there isn't safe, that it may be a dangerous area, may be prone to wildfires or other things. You never know. See, I don't even know because I'm not in charge of camping and wildlife and stuff. But there are people who know better than me. Kind of like earlier, the situation with my son that you ended up being mad for him. He wasn't obeying in something that I knew could be dangerous, and I was trying to keep him safe. But he's just a little boy, and he doesn't understand that yet. But you know what? He'll learn to listen to me and trust me, just like we learn to listen to God and trust him. So, are you still mad at me?
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Natasha. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.